My name is Lindsay Major. I am the head of customer experience here at the MLC. We're going to dive into the content now. This webinar series is just, you're a member, now what do you do? What are the next steps you take? So for today's content, we're going to give you a high-level overview of this immediate next steps you should take once you become a member. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the MLC, what we do. And then we do have, again, this is a series, so we do have some follow-up webinars that will be more specific demos and getting deep into the tools and really detailed there. Today, we're just going to give you a breeze through the portal. A couple of things before we get started. This is a Zoom webinar. So at the bottom, it's a little bit different than a Zoom meeting. At the bottom, you'll see there's a chat box and there's a Q&A box. Please be sure to put all of your questions in the Q&A. That ensures that I will see them. If you put them in the chat, I might accidentally miss it. Not on purpose, just looking at the Q&A. I will answer all questions at the end of the presentation, but please be sure to put them in the Q&A. Reserve the chat for things. Our team's going to communicate to you some helpful links and information like that. Okay, so with that, I'm going to share my screen again. All right, so you're all, and all of you are members, so that's wonderful. We're off to a good start. So first of all, we do like to communicate a lot with our membership to keep everybody really well informed. So when you joined, we did ask you to follow our social media accounts. That's a great way to stay informed. But here's some other member communications you'll receive. You will get that welcome email, which all of you probably received since you're all members. You joined, you got that welcome email, kind of telling you about next steps, different resources, things like that. You will also, on a monthly basis, receive our monthly member newsletter. This is a great recap of our monthly royalty distribution and other important updates. We also monthly send out a webinar reminder, just some of the upcoming webinars. And we have some really great webinars, chock full of great information. So those are some of the marketing communications you'll receive. In addition, you're also going to receive a separate notification, an email about when your statements are available in the portal. So those are the communications that you can expect from us. So the MLC and where we came from. So for those of you who are familiar, the MLC was born out of the Music Modernization Act. That was an act that passed in 2018. And it created three key components. There's a lot of great stuff in that legislation, but the three big things that's important for you all to understand. One, it created the blanket mechanical license for interactive streaming and downloads. Interactive streaming is the experience that you have like a Spotify or an Apple Music, where I get to pick what I want to listen to, when I want to listen to it, for how long, skip, do whatever. So previous to the MMA and the blanket, these digital service providers had to individually license every song that was being played on their platform. And that wasn't a scalable solution. It wasn't really a great way to manage that. So we've created this blanket license that covers all of the uses of those songs. So anytime your song is played on one of those platforms, it's covered under this blanket. The next thing is that the MMA designated the MLC, the Mechanical Licensing Collective, to be the sole administrator of this new blanket license. That means that DSPs are required to send us their data. We crunch the numbers, match it, and we figure out who to pay. But we're the only organization that's able to administer this new blanket license. No one else can do that. And the third really big important thing is that it mandated that the MLC establish and maintain a publicly available database of musical works ownership. And our database is almost 30 million musical works, 30 million songs. It's the most robust data set like this out there. There really isn't anything like this out there. So really impactful legislation that passed. So MLC's purpose, our mission is to pay rights holders, whether that's a songwriter, a publisher, administrator, whoever it is, accurately on time. Again, we are the exclusive administrator of this new blanket license. So how this works is that digital service providers who are operating, who are involved in interactive streaming and downloads are required to send us all of their data and all of the money associated with that data each month, the MLC crunches all the numbers, figures out which rights holders get paid what. So it's a pretty straightforward process, but it does require a lot of activity from our members. We do need our members to go in and participate in their data to make sure that we have it correct so that we know who to pay and how much to pay them. So one thing that you can do right away, you can do this on your phone, you can do it wherever, is look up your songs in our database. If you're like, I don't even know if I have anything in your database, it's super easy to run a search using our public search that we just talked about. And this is also a tool. This is the only thing that both members and non-members can use because it's available to the public. Whether you're a member or not, you can use this and look up your data and see what state it's in, is it there, all those good things. If you are a member, you should log into the portal and claim and look up your works in the claiming tool. Let's say you notice some works in the public search. If you log into your account and use the claiming tool, you can claim your share to those works that are already registered. It's really important that you do that. Next, if you notice not all of my works are there, you can register your new works using any of our work registration tools. And then once your works are registered in the portal, you'll use our matching tool to match any sound recordings that have been used and haven't been matched to your work yet. And then this is probably one of the most important things, but is often left out. You do need to input your banking and tax information. So I would actually recommend, once you log into the portal, going to your member settings, the banking and tax information, and filling that out right away, just so we know who to send the money to. So I know that was quick. That's kind of the order that you want to go in. I'm going to dive in a little bit more specifically, not getting too in the weeds, because again, we do have upcoming webinars where we dive into these tools in a lot of detail, but I do want to give you a breeze around. So the public search, again, this is available to members and non-members. You can look up any work that is registered in our database. If you're looking things up and you can't find them, that means that they're not registered. So you can find that if you go to the MLC.com, top right-hand corner, you see that yellow public search button. Anybody can access that, and you can search by any of these fields. But if you are a member, we have a really great suite of member tools to make it really easy to register your works, keep your data updated, make sure that you're getting paid all the money that you're owed. And this is what we like to call play your part. This is a really critical to our success and our ability to pay you out. So again, first you'll use our claiming tool. You want to make sure that you're claiming your share to works that are already registered. You don't want to register your works new if they already exist, because we'll create duplicates. We can clean them up. It's not the end of the world, but it delays the process. So if your work is already registered, use our claiming tool, claim your share to that work. That will register the work in your catalog, and we'll know that you have some ownership in that. If, again, you use the claiming tool and you notice I have songs that aren't registered yet, that's fine. We've got a couple of options for you. You can use our individual work registration tool, or you can use our bulk upload. Let's say you've got a couple hundred songs that you need to register. You could use that bulk upload template. And if you're equipped to use CWR, you can do that as well. So we've got a few registration options for you. And then again, once your songs are registered in your catalog, that's when you can go into the matching tool and find any sound recordings that are not yet matched to your song that are being used on these platforms that you need to get paid for. And you can suggest to the MLC that they match those sound recordings to your song. But again, that song has to be registered first. So that's why that's the order that your ideal order you should go in. So I know that was pretty high level. I am going to log into the portal in a second and kind of show you what this looks like. But again, and I know you're probably tired of me saying this, we do have upcoming webinars where we're going to demo each tool, get really specific with each, show you all the things, best practices. They'll be really, really useful webinars. So put these on your calendar. You'll get an email about them like we talked about. Be sure to join these because they'll be a great way to really see and learn how to use these tools effectively. We also have our YouTube channel. If you've not subscribed to that YouTube channel, you should do so. We've got a lot of really good tutorial videos that you can watch on these tools, along with other things. There's webinars. It's a great, great resource. So definitely subscribe to that. And then at the end of the day, if you need help, that's okay. We've got an amazing support team. They're available Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can call us, email us, chat with us, whatever you need. We're more than happy to walk you through and help you use these tools and get your works registered properly. Lots of great resources at themlc.com as well. Okay, so with that, I am going to now bring up the portal and show you what this would look like as you're logging in and where these tools are. Again, I'm not going to go into a specific demo on these today. We'll reserve that for the other webinars, but I'm going to show you at least where it is. Another thing to know is what I'm about to show you is a test environment of the portal. So I'm not showing you any data that you're not supposed to be seeing. This is all fake data. We test new features and things in this version of the portal, but it looks exactly like it is our portal. It's just a test version of it. So when you log into the portal, if you're looking for the public search from your member account, it's this right here. You'll click on that and it puts you right into the public search. And again, you can search by several criteria. But if you're looking, you're like, I'm going to go right to the claiming tool. So that's the first thing I should do when I'm looking. You'll see on the left-hand side, we've got everything pretty clearly mapped out, but works registration, this is where you're going to register your songs, whether that's through the claiming tool or through one of these registration options. So under works registration, you'll see this is the claiming tool. And this is where you can search by any of these criteria: work title, publisher IPI, song code, whatever you've got. You can add a second criteria up to 5 criteria. It just kind of depends on how specific you want to be. I'm just going to pop in and show you. So you'll search, and based on whatever you search on, it'll populate a lot of results. It is just based on how you search. So the more specific you get, the fewer results you'll receive. And if you find that you need to claim, you'll see right here, it says you have 0 claim shares. This is a work you need to claim. You hit claim, you add your information, and then that work will be registered in your catalog. So that's the claiming tool. Do that first. If you notice then that you've got works that are not yet registered with us, that's when you'll use one of our registration tools. We've got the individual work registration tool and the bulk registration tool. Just depending on how many works you need to register will dictate which ones you choose. If you have 1 or 2, the individual registration tool is the way to go. We'll walk you through it. You'll need your work title, your artists or your writer names, your publisher. But if you've got a couple hundred or so, I would recommend using the bulk work registration. You'll download this template, fill it out, upload it, and then you're done. Super easy. Only takes a couple minutes to do any of those things. And then again, lastly, once your works are all registered in your catalog, that's when you can use our matching tool. This is an opportunity to find sound recordings that are being used on these platforms that we haven't yet been able to match to your songs. And that's important because we're crunching the sound recording data. So that's what's being used, and we're just attaching it to the song so we know who to pay. So it is really important that you come into this and make sure that we've got all the recordings matched to your song. Again, you can search up to 5 criteria. Whatever you've got. This one's a little bit different. You can search by recording title and recording ISRC. You don't have to, but you can search by writer. And again, very similar to how the claiming tool works. You search, it will populate based on the search terms that you put in there, and you can select whatever makes sense and suggest that the MLC matches it. So I know that was pretty fast, but this was meant to be an introduction. We will go into the Q&A. All right. The first question, can the MLC replace or work alongside of Song Trust? So that's a good question. Song Trust is what we call a publishing administrator. So you engage with Song Trust, you pay a little bit of a fee, you give them your data, and then they make sure that you're registered in all the places you need to be registered, and they're collecting your royalties on your behalf and paying you. Again, it does cost some money. The MLC for this specific set of rights can replace Song Trust if you wanted to collect directly. So, but that does mean that you'll need to collect from all the places that Song Trust was collecting from before. So if you really did truly want to be self-administered, that means you need to, be established with a PRO to collect those monies, with us to collect this particular right, which is a digital US mechanical royalty. You'd also need to get distribution and anything on the master side with the performance. So sound exchange. So you can collect that money directly from us, but just you got to know where you're getting all your money from. And we have some pretty good webinars that go into very specific details about what we do and what we don't do. And I would recommend definitely checking that out. Okay. Does the MLC collect internationally? We do not. So we are US only digital audio mechanicals, not because we don't want to, just because by law, we have been mandated to do US only digital mechanical. If you need to collect internationally, you can do that through a publishing administrator or your publisher if you are published. If you want to self-publish, then you'll need to find the MLC in those countries. For example, in the UK is PRS. Yeah, good question though. All right, next one. Do songs need to be released already, or can we register songs that will be released soon? You are able to register songs that will be released soon. Obviously, you won't make any money until it is commercially released, but if you'd like to get ahead of the game and have them already registered before it's released, you can absolutely do that. Okay, next one. I'm just reading it here. Okay. I've been confused about whether I should be the one to register certain things or not. For example, an artist cut and released a song I co-wrote with him, and he distributed it through CD Baby. And he does use the CD Baby Pro publishing, so presumably CD Baby will be interfacing with the MLC on his behalf. That's correct. If you have some distributors that you'll use, like CD Baby, have a publishing that you can pay for called CD Baby Pro or whatever distribute. Some of them don't offer that, some of them do. So there's that situation. Or if you just go to publishing admin like a Song Trust, there's several of them out there. They will register your works and collect the money on your behalf. Let me get to the rest of this though. Correct. From searching, it seems like CD Baby has not registered the recording or the song yet with the MLC. Should I register a song from my end, or is there any chance they will be registering the song and I would be creating a duplicate registration if I do? Okay, Brian, so there's a little bit more to unpack here. So if you co-wrote the song with this other person and they are represented by CD Baby Pro, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be collecting from CD Baby Pro also. So I don't know if you have your own CD Baby Pro or Song Trust or TuneCore or whatever, or if you're self-administering, but you need to register your share of that. So you can use our claiming tool, search for the work. I know you said this one isn't registered, but if it were registered, that's where you could use our claiming tool and claim your share, assuming there isn't somebody who's supposed to be doing it for you. Now, if CD Baby Pro or whoever you may be using for publishing has not registered a song in our database, you'll need to reach out to them and say, hey, this song needs to be registered and it's not yet. Because if they're representing your catalog, they're the ones who have the right to register it. If you've retained that work, then yeah, you could claim your share to that. But it just kind of depends on what the setup there is and if you're collecting your own rights. I hope that answered your question. If you have follow-up, just pop them in the Q&A and I'll address it for sure. Okay. From Mark, I have over 300 songs registered with the MLC. Several months ago, the claiming tool notified me I had 21 in the black box and I just had to claim them, which I did. But it has not notified me of anything recently. Is there a reason it notified me before but hasn't notified me recently? I'm a little confused by that question because I'm assuming I'm gonna and feel free to follow up and redirect me. I'm assuming that you use the claiming tool and you had 21 results. You searched your name, 21 results showed that you needed to claim your share to that. So if you did that, then those works are registered and there's nothing left for you to do. We are working on like actively notifying people, but if there's nothing showing up in the claiming tool and you see the works in your catalog, then they're fully registered and you're good to go. If you're talking about the matching tool, similar situation. So the matching tool is those sound recordings where you get to pick which sound recordings are supposed to go to which work and we review it. If you search your name in there or your artist name or your writer name or whatever, and you're not seeing anything pop up, that means that we don't have any usages that are unmatched. So you're also good to go. If that wasn't your question and I didn't answer it correctly, please feel free to follow up. Also, as a reminder, in general, if whenever you have questions, definitely reach out to our support team. They are super knowledgeable and waiting to help. So lots of ways to get help from us. This webinar isn't the only way. Okay. From Stacy, I tried to edit my bank info. Do I need to have songs registered first before I'm allowed to edit an edit button to add my bank? No, you don't need to be have any songs registered to update your banking information. If you are having issues, that's a pretty specific thing that we'll need to look at. If you're having some trouble updating your banking information, reach out to our support team. But no, you do not need to have songs registered to put in banking information. Okay. Zane, good question. Is claiming percentage is based on 100% or 200% like PROs? So this is that's a great question. So it's 100% is there. You can only claim 100% of the song. It works a little differently with mechanicals and what we do from performance with the PROs do. So at the PROs, for your performance royalties, there's a writer share and a publisher share. With us, there's only a publisher share. So because the publishers are responsible for collecting that money and then paying out the writers according to whatever shares or splits they've figured out. So when you register with us, let's say you are a self-administered songwriter, you handle all of your own publishing, you would just register 100% of that work. Whereas at the PRO, you might register 50% writer, 50% publisher. Here, it's just the publisher, so you register 100%. But yeah, that was a great question. Thanks, Zane. Okay. Being a CMO, this is going to be a fun one. Being a CMO, we have publishers as our members also, meaning that we should collect royalties on behalf of them. If I register a new song, there's no way to add a publisher because the system sees us as publisher ourselves. So I have two options: leave the publisher share out and register claims for less than 100%, or claim 100% and try to define, isolate the share for the publisher. Can be done, but complicated while distributing royalties later. Are you familiar with this problem and are there solutions? So a couple of things here. Typically, with the, like, if you could act as the admin. So if you could add you'd need to reach out and we need to get you set up this way. But we could add the publishers to you, and that way you're the admin. You could designate the publishers, but the publisher share will always be assigned to you because you're the one responsible for collecting that money and paying it out to the publisher. So however you want to facilitate that is up to you. Again, reach out to us and we'll get you set up according to what you're trying to accomplish. You've got a few options. You could also This isn't the most streamlined way to do it, but if it's easier for you, you can. You could also create a member per publisher and do it that way. But I would recommend taking the administrator route where you're the administrator. You can designate those publishers and figure out that way. But again, that share will be assigned to the administrator. So hopefully that answers your question, but reach out to our support team and we can figure out the best setup for you. Okay, let's see. Just getting through some of these. Okay, from Cynthia. How do we know if the MLC is collecting all our royalties from Song Trust if we are a member of Song Trust and MLC if our publisher is our publisher? Well, the MLC is not a publisher. So Song Trust is your publisher from what's put in your question. So Song Trust is supposed to be registering your works, claiming your shares, doing all the things. We pay Song Trust, and then Song Trust pays you. So if you're confused on like, how do I see what MLC money is being paid to me from Song Trust, I'd recommend reviewing your statements or reaching out to Song Trust and asking them to explain that to you. So BMI, the publisher is BMI. So BMI is also not a publisher. That is a PRO, Performance Rights Organization. So they're paying you your performance royalties. So Song Trust, again, is the publisher who is collecting that money and paying you. Okay. All right. Wayne. Thinking that I need to. Okay. So basically, Wayne accidentally registered the same song twice. No big deal. Thinking that, and this is a common thing, thinking that you need to register both as a songwriter and a publisher. If you have a duplicate registration, reach out to our support team and we can clean that up for you. No big deal. But yeah, if you've registered duplicate for whatever reason, just reach out to support, say this is what happened, and we will merge it and make it one. It's happens all the time. Okay. That is all the questions in the Q&A. We will give everybody another minute or two to pop anything in there that they thought of after. Again, not sound like a broken record. If you think of something later, reach out to support. We're available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central, phone, chat, email, whatever you'd like. And then don't forget to follow us on social. Keep an eye out for our monthly newsletter and webinars, and join us on the next one. We'll talk all about the claiming tool and show you how to use it. Thanks for joining us today.